Well, hello, my fellow duelists and collectors. Today we're going to be taking a look at this junk Stardust deck, which may not be that competitive, but is so fun. I highly recommend building something like this for yourself. It's just, I love using it. Starting with the monsters, we have one Junk Blader, who's not exactly necessary, but he's good for, powerhouse. Two Junk Servant. Now you should definitely, I think, run three of these. Yeah, definitely run three Junk Servants if you can. I can't, so I run two. And then one Junk Changer, who's definitely good, but not necessarily essential. One Goblinberg, you could definitely up that to three if you want. It all depends on your play style. And then, of course, the Junk Synchrons. I did have three earlier, but I diversified the deck a little bit, made it a little more, change of scenario. Turret Warrior. Hell of a lot of fun when you have a stronger warrior out, generally a synchro like Junk Destroyer. That'd be beautiful with Turret Warrior. Make his attack 3,800 right off the bat, right? Super good in situations. One Junk Collector. I honestly don't know the potential of this card. I want you to leave in the comments if you want to how good Junk Collector can be, because I know it can be really good, but I don't have a hell of a lot of traps that work well with him, although I'm trying to make it work, if that makes sense. Anyway, continuing, Debris Dragon for the Stardust aspect. He's definitely good and should be run. One Junk Forward. You could realistically run three Junk Forwards. That's really up to you. That's up to your choice of the cards. Three Quillbolt Hedgehogs, which are beautiful in any Synchron deck. I highly recommend it because it summons itself. It's kind of like the Plague Spreader of Synchrons, so highly recommend. One Doppel Warrior. You should definitely run one at least, if not up to three, because it's amazing and a standard in a lot of staple Synchron decks. One Quick Draw Synchron, which is more for Synchron decks, but works well in a Junk deck, obviously. One Suzuki Samurai number 2, great for the spell and trap control. And then these are more recent edition, the Lefty Driver and Righty Driver. Definitely, they're like a quick draw Synchron kind of, and they work really well. They're a lot of fun to use. One Shield Wing, which this is honestly just for nostalgia purposes. Although it does have a good effect, it definitely is like a Yusei card, a Stardust card. So for that reason, I keep it in. One Synchron Explorer, which is kind of like a reverse Junk Synchron, who's definitely proven to be pretty good. And then we have a Changer Synchron for the 1-stars, a Turbo Booster, and a Cyber Valley. These, I shouldn't need to explain much about them, but they all work pretty well in the deck and add the extra stars for you. For the spell cards, we have 3 tunings, which I think is essential. You should run 3 tunings because in any Synchron deck, it's just amazing. One Desynchro. I used to have more Desynchros, but now I feel like you don't really need Desynchro as much. It's best just for like Junk Destroyer, but you could run more than one, definitely. One Battle Waltz to bring out a substitute or a token that just will, be worth it for a Synchro summon. Reasoning's amazing for Synchron decks because there's so many different levels of monsters that there's a very high chance that your opponent won't guess correctly. You'll get to summon something. It's just an amazing card. I highly recommend Reasoning forever. One Monster Reborn, pretty standard. Call the Army, Foolish Burial. Those are all pretty standard. And then less standard, but still helpful, 1-for-1. And in this deck, you may actually be surprised, but sometimes it does come in handy. Swords of Revealing Light. Nobleman of Extermination is just another spell and trap destruction, so you could replace that with whatever you want, but definitely is a different experience having him in there. And then Book of Moon, and that does it for the spells. For the traps, we're going to have a Dust Tornado, Karma Cut, and Jar of Greed. Honestly, and in regards to Junk Collector, I mainly added, I made sure they're all normal traps, but I think there could be a lot better traps I have in here. These are just what I had that were decent and good enough to put in the deck. So these are very interchangeable. It's up to you. Although Karma Cut, I definitely recommend keeping in there. Moving on to the Synchros. We have the Divine Stardust, the Stardust Cipher, right? And then we have 2 junk destroyers, because honestly, 1 is good, 2 is way better. You should run 2 in a junk deck for sure, if not 3. It's amazing. 1 Stardust, 1 Stardust Spark. Pretty obvious for a Stardust deck. 1 Junk Archer. He's good. I don't really call on him that much, but he definitely comes in handy sometimes. 1 Stardust Assault Warrior, newer card. He's definitely good to use, but again, he's not one that is a go-to. But for the 6 stars, I mean, he's like the only 6 star, so definitely gonna need him in there. Junk Warrior, pretty standard. Junk Speeder, much better. Hyper Psychic Riser. He's another 6 star, but he's definitely more of a staple. He's good enough to be in the deck, but definitely interchangeable. So I'm gonna throw him in there. Anyway, I organize my stuff by its level, usually. That was that order. 1 Underworld, he's definitely good. 1 Armory Arm, great in certain situations. 1 Metal Marcher, who comes in handy, but I don't really use that much. And then 1 Formula Synchron, because, I mean, what Synchron deck doesn't run Formula Synchron? And then, although Master Rule 5 sort of negated the need for it, I still run a Junk Connector, because it can be good, and I like trying to use links, although I'd be perfectly happy never having discovered them. Also 1 token for the deck, because you'll need that for the Battle Waltz and other random things. Doppel Warrior. Anyway, that's going to do it for this deck profile. Videos, channel, subscribe. You know the drill. No YouTuber doesn't say this, right? I don't know. Comment below. Select something. Do it. Okay, fine.